This is the review for 21st of June, which was Tuesday. By far, we've had two trading days in the week. Monday was very good day. We did a lot of positive things, right things, building on our strengths. And yesterday was, I would say, a very mindful trading day where we were very aware of what was happening and what we were doing and what could be the consequences of those decisions that we were taking. And it was a very tricky day. And let's look what I did, what maybe I should have done, and how can we get better and learn from what we did. This is the DAX. The opening price behavior was in itself very erratic. If you'd see bull bar, bear bars, continuous bear bars, which suggest there's weakness after the open, but pre-market you'd see we we had good strength, not overlapping bars, and you'd see this was uh, by far one of the biggest gap up situation. We were 300 or points, I would say, uh, on the positive side, and I was looking for buy setups mostly, but I did not wanted myself to be swayed by the idea to buy. I was just seeing what is happening in the market. When we went below the range, if you'd see, uh, we'd go above bars and sell off, and we'll go below bars and it would be bought. And looking at that, bought the lower end of the range. Did not looked very strong. It did not reacted right. I, I exited my position when it went above a prior bar. I shorted it, had a very tight stop because I was not very sure. Got stopped out, did nothing, wanted it to clear the space to see what actually it wants to do, because it seemed like it was confused. And when it made itself clear by pushing on the higher side, I bought, uh, added to my position, and the moment I added to my position, it didn't work how I wanted it to. Went above prior bar. I had to see sell off. I closed my add-on, I moved my stop to break even and got stopped out for zero nothing. and 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 then I did nothing only to see the market fall, so it was the right decision. uh, I was debating myself. I bought here, the market went up until here. This was a 60 point move. You added to your position, exited that because you were not seeing momentum. Why did you not exited your initial add-on, initial position, the main position, which you lost? 60 points were good points. And I to respond that, I say and I argue that the only way to make big is when you press your winners and you let your winners run. I did the same. I was aiming for a high of Friday, which was 840. 846 or 880, and I was of the opinion we might see and this breakout might sustain, which it did not, and later it drifted down, and you'd see after market coming down until this point and then falling back again. If you measure an A B C D, it was uh, right, a very sweet trade that I was waiting the moment after this pullback the market started uh, drifting down. I knew it's coming to this low, and it would be bought here. ABCD is ending here, this is the right place for me to buy. I let it touched it, bought here. Initially this stop was 40 points away at 53,560, and I moved my stop up only to get stopped out, and then seeing the market going in my direction. uh, there's one more mistake I made, and the reason why I moved this stop, you it would become very clear when we look at the US markets. This was around the US, if you'd see it 730. That is why I moved my stop to keep my stops tight, and I missed a very good trade. And later when it went higher, I had this idea that we coming for a retest. 40% of the time you'd see it retesting areas, and and that is when it would be confirmed that it's going higher. And when it came, I still could not uh, pull myself up to buy, and maybe the reason is I am not very accustomed to uh, taking trades around the time when the US markets are open in the DAX index. This is Dow Jones. We opened very strong. I bought a prior bar low. Now the learning that came from prior bar lows is, if it had to work, it would work very quickly, or if it's not, you do not want to give it much points. This was a 33 point stop. I just got stopped out, but I had a very tight stop, because if it is supposed to work, it would work. There's another learning here. I've seen it a couple of times. When you see a strong push higher, and a prior bar fail, generally the market tends to come to the opposite end of the bars from where it started pushing higher, and then maybe you can buy bottom from this area. Didn't it went in my favor. I moved my stop to break even, and then I exited it, not seeing it the way I wanted it to perform. The market was kind of very quiet here. Nothing was happening. There were a lot of overlap bars, and then news was released. And after the news, uh, this kind of behavior was not expected. I shorted a double top here, had a very tight stop just above this candle high. It worked in my favor, and then it did not. I got stopped out. Did the same in Nasdaq. Sold the opening high, got stopped out for zero because it moved in my favor. I moved my stop to break even. Then another double top here. I shorted it only to get stopped out. Uh, it took me, what was happening in the EU was what swaying me. That is why I missed good trades. If you'd see, I was buying very uh, uh, in the early in the sessions, and then I sold later, while uh, buying later would have worked very very well. And the reason I did not did it was, you'd see the EU losing all the gains that it made during the day, and it came to a very good point, and the Nasdaq already and the Dow Jones already were higher, 300 points, both of them, and then I did not expected them to move higher without coming and maybe retesting some good areas, or maybe having a pullback. It was a strong gap up situation, and this is what I was swayed by, and this is what is wrong. If it is a gap up situation, that means the market is strong. You look for buy setups, And maybe another thing is I am very good when there's less overlaps. If you'd see less overlaps, and I'm very bad when you see a pullback trend. After every push, you're seeing a pullback after every push. That is even a strong trend, and it is kind of unhealthy trend that continues because there's no erratic moves and people just keep on buying. But maybe this is the kind of trends that I have to practice more. I have to gather data around such trends, and I'll do it and see how to trade them better. That is the research thing that we are to work on. All right. While I lost very less. You'd see my stops were very tight uh, because I was not very sure, and I had a good trade that got stopped out for zero. Very good idea generation, very bad management. This is also something that I'd had to look for going forward. How do I make sure I capitalize my right idea generation very well?